Hello, YouTube. My name is Plazookas, and I have not been on Twitter, social medias, or pretty much anything for a good month or a month and a half. And so I don't know what the back and forth looks like. However, because I have covered Tectone for so long, I know how his content and his community work. But it's not just him. This cult of personality is affecting every content creator that currently exists, and it is perpetrated by the fact that we have Trump as president, and essentially all of these people that are public figures that are somewhat popular are just resonating with other people in the United States or the world to the point where things that would be criticized or behaviors that would be, cringeworthy are acceptable and are being applauded. And that's no different than what you see in Tectone's channel. And this is something that I saw when I went back to Twitter, just looking at my two different profiles that I normally looked at with Pink and Tectone. And I haven't even checked Tectone's Twitter today. I haven't checked them in over a month. But this is what I saw when I first came back, which is not surprising. It's unfortunate. I wasn't going to say anything, but I've been getting harassed. I've already notified the courts, attorneys, and police once again, and will do that when I return to the States. This is ridiculous. No lawsuit has been filed because I didn't lie about anything. I ended the relationship. I am the only one who made an effort to send a cease and desist and get the police involved. Leave me alone, move on, or get an attorney to contact me. And I think that's directed towards Tectone specifically. I am tired of dressing this BS and seeing it in my comics, just muting and blocking. And this is part of Tectone's community, who continuously basically will take whatever Tectone says within his channel, and Tectone will always have this ability to skirt the legality, will skirt the responsibility by saying, well, I'm not telling these people to do anything. No, because it's already been cultivated. These kids that are currently watching Tectone, who are gooning over Tectone, and I say gooning because he has discords that have 18 plus anime things, do ungodly amounts of bestiality and incest or whatever else is going on in that Discord server, okay? Basically goon over Tectone, idolize Tectone as this god, as this cult personality, and will do anything for him. And it's not just Tectone, it's all of these online personalities, whether it be Asmongold, her Hassan, or Moist Critical, or you name them. They all have their devoted communities that will literally do anything for them. And so when you're faced with allegations, or when you have drama or controversy, these people will ensure their community makes it difficult, impossible, requiring legal or requiring extra protection, or just the overall constant need to block and to try to distance yourself to the point where you just leave the internet, like we've seen in the past with other content creators. Obviously, MTash has continued to deal with the ramifications of his decision to speak out against Tectone like 6 months ago. And then you have Atsu and all these other people that have been in the gacha space who have just been literally murdered by, and I say that quote unquote, it's an analogy. It's not an actual murder, but it's the murder of their online personality. It's the murder of their online attendance, and they've basically left the space and has allowed Tectone to reign supreme. Continues to lambast and degrade all these other content creators, Enviosity and stuff like that, to the point where they don't even cover gacha. Last thing I saw Enviosity do was Pokemon TCG, and he had even less viewers than he did previously. And that may just be, him falling off on the community, and it may not ultimately lie on Tectone, but Tectone's continuous ability to pressure these individuals and then have the audacity to criticize me for continuously covering him when I used to in the past. Even though I'm fair and the videos that I make are extremely relevant and are prescient to the actual time that I release them. And even if the titles seem like they're clickbait, they're not. I've always been very transparent. I've been very factual to the extent that I can be, obviously not knowing all the information, but I'm very confident in what I say and how I say it. So that's this video. Let me go and see if Tectone has actually responded to any of this or is basically leading a charge, which I suspect he is. And I'm still blocked, by the way, on his stuff. And wait, did he get banned from Twitter? What's happening? Gets abused by his roommate and gets emotional on stream. I think it's probably... Let's see. I can't even find him. He's not even on my discovery list anymore. This has happened in the past before as well, by the way. Okay, here we go. So you can find him here. View posts. Let's see if there's anything that's been happening. Obviously, that's pinned. I may know things you all don't know. I'm sure this is for gotcha. All right, so far, gotcha seems like it's being what's most prevalent on his Twitter. But it happened 24 hours ago. April 19th, so that's only a day ago. So he's kept it pretty... Okay. Good news. The doctors figure out what was wrong with me, and I'm currently on track to hopefully fix what was hindering me. They think 2 months and I'll be good as new. Bear with me as it's going to be a bit of a struggle, but every day it should get a bit easier. I appreciate all of you. I don't know what this was in. A lot of times whenever Tectone is feigning sickness or mental health breaks, it's because of an online pressure of some sort. So maybe that's what's happened recently. This might be uncomfortable for a lot of you, but I really need to get this off my chest. Real talk, I am not okay. Join my for anime reacts VODs and let's see this.
You came looking for a light beer, and you found gold. Modelo Oro.
Genuinely how I'm doing. I mean, I'll just be real, guys. I mean, I get...
All right, maybe we should continue this video by reacting to this because this seems like it's a very prescient discussion. And I can only imagine what happened previous to this video. Like I said, a lot of how, and I'm not saying this is definitive, I'm not saying this is what happened, but because I don't follow Tectone and I don't know, which might seem a little ignorant of me to say, but you know what? And this is a little irresponsible of me. A lot of times Tectone will make these videos after he receives backlash. Is he making these videos right now because of that? I don't know because I haven't looked back in the history to see what was the recent controversy. So
I guess it's been like what? Like 7 months now? I can just say it. Guys, I'm not good at all. Like, just to be completely honest, I'm just not. I'm not gonna lie. I've been through some deeply traumatic experiences over this past year. Let's just keep it 100%. I mean, I could sit here and tell you that it didn't affect me at all. And to be honest, I've lied long enough to myself. I've lied long enough to my community. Obviously, I'm not okay. How the f could I be okay? Absolutely not. I mean, guys, you guys got to understand, bro. My ex f***ed me up, straight up, and I'll just admit that publicly. That she f***ed me up. I am not gonna lie. Do you know how bad it hurts to have someone that you deeply care about where...
So the amount of back and forth that has happened in this particular relationship, it is tumultuous. And I am sure there are plenty of examples where both parties were wrong. But here's the problem. Tectone has a history of being part of the problem, whether it be his marriage previous to this relationship, whether it be relationships he's made in the gotcha community. Although it is possible that Tectone has been the victim in every case, it is more likely that Tectone does start and is the spearhead to a lot of these issues. So therefore, him, and this is what has commonly been used, and it's unfortunate because very little has there been apologies or just overtly saying something definitively that Tectone may be part of the problem. He has feigned victim more times than not. And maybe he is a victim in some cases, but not in every case. And most likely, not in this case.
Where you pour everything into, and then because you don't want to marry them, they go and slander your name online and try to get you labeled as an abuser. And
So the marriage part I don't know anything about, but there was, I guess, a mutual oral agreement between Pink and Tectone that she would help she was helping with the bills and stuff at the previous place, and that because they were together during the time that he got this place, and obviously they're not married, so he has no obligation. There was a spoken agreement that she would be, able to come into the new place and kind of help build it from the ground up. That didn't actually, happen, in that he met somebody soon after they broke up, which is totally normal. It's not a negative. It's not me trying to point that out to be petty. It's just a reality. So the marriage issue, who knows if that's a valid concern between them and that relationship. And to be honest, it's not really important to talk about. And it's not even really an important thing for him to say. So I don't know why he's saying it to begin with.
everybody believed it. That's the crazy thing. Some of my fucking friends believed that shit. And it's
Well, I don't know. I talked to a couple of his friends. I'm not going to say who, privately, and they're pretty much supporting him unequivocally. They believe whatever he says. So I think this narrative may be a little bit false as well.
only been 7 months now
Again, feign and victim as he normally does.
to where I'm able to undo the insane amount of damage she did to my fucking life. Everybody believed that shit.
That's not true. That's not true. Not true at all. Because this is the narrative. The narrative that Tectone has been spreading is that all of his roommates, and even those that are considered his content creator friends, all basically supported him. I've asked Box. I've asked, although I've not got any response to a couple other content creators, and but their response is very clear. They don't either want to get involved, or they basically have supported them. And they supported him by going onto his channel, by having conversations with him publicly on his streams. That is a show of support, especially with the allegations that were laid upon him. If you actually thought that someone like Tectone did it, would you want to be part of that community, that discourse, when you have your own community? Unless, of course, you are okay with it. And if you're okay with it, then what are you about? What are you doing on a daily basis to be able to condone those kind of things? I mean, I'm not saying whatever it is, but it's just more of like a inferring.
Without any proof whatsoever. Bro, she f***ed my life up terribly.
She did have proof. And again, going back and forth here and knowing a little bit of their history, you didn't do yourself any favor when you tried to provide a proof, and then a couple days later, it was revealed based on your own receipts that you lied, and that you've continuously lied to try to make it look better for yourself. So therefore, you are hiding things as well. So playing victim here and not admitting your faults, whether you do or don't in this video, I don't know. But it sounds like you're feigning victim like you always do, Tectone. We'll see.
Yeah, no, it fucking sucks. No, obviously I'm not good, but I mean, you guys will be happy to know that at least I've now put my ego to the side where I'll fucking get a therapist. Thank fucking God. I've stopped being a...
I don't know. You can't believe anything Tectone says. So whether or not he gets a therapist, because he said he's gotten 4 lawyers in this particular case for this issue. He never did. He said he sued somebody, he never does. He says a lot of things to his community that have not, at least historically, been true.
Dumbass for 2 fucking seconds. No, I'm horrifically fucked up. My mental is fucking terrible. Like, I mean, obviously, I mean, you saw this shit with MTAS.
You see this? You see this shirt? Oh, so it must have been recent with MTash, huh? Hopefully, MTash is trying to get his career back after basically being ganged up on by the entire community. And he was in the right. MTash was in the right to say something, being part of the gotcha community when he was part of the gotcha community, and me being also very involved during that time. MTash was right to say something when he did. And then it got twisted and turned on him as it normally does. Do you see his shirt? Me versus everybody. He's been playing all these. This whole like shirt has been like a campaign on Tectone's part. He's like, I am a psychopath. Like all the things that are being said against him, or about him, he's always worn a shirt to kind of like rub people or to counter the narrative. Like it's just a continuation, and it's just.
I mean, do you want to know why that shit fucked me up so much? It's because obviously I doubt every single relationship that I have.
Right.
Obviously, it's fucking terrible, bro. I want you guys to think of a consistent track record in my fucking career and in my fucking life, which is how many people I have done absolutely everything for, and how many of those people have stabbed me in the fucking back.
Okay. When the premise of you doing something for somebody is that you want something in return, then you are building relationships already on false pretenses. So you being stabbed in the back most likely occurs when they figure out your game, when they figure out your tactics, Tectone. That's why they say, oh my God, this guy has been, or this person has been trying to do this and that and try to gain favor from me, and I feel used and abused. Of course I'm going to retaliate. Of course I'm going to feel anger. Not everybody is above that and can just move on from that. They're going to speak out as well, especially if they're part of a gotcha community or if, you know, there's real feelings involved. So again, you feigning victim is just an absolute absurdity, and never accepting the fact that you are part of the problem. And you say you're in therapy. I can assure you that if you're in legitimate therapy and it's not just an echo chamber for you to talk through a therapist and then for them to say nothing because you're so egotistical, which you say you're not right now, which I don't know whether to believe that or not, or narcissistic, which you have been, continuously, not just by me, I just don't know how that relationship's going to work with you and your therapist. But if you ever do get a breakthrough, then I think you should come on stream and start admitting some of your faults, because that would indicate that maybe, possibly, you're in therapy, because that is part of the process of therapy.
And then you know what's crazy? When those people stab me in the back, you know what the internet says? They're right. He deserved it.
You might have deserved it.
Obviously, it's fucking terrible. And you guys have seen it.
This is a 15-second one. I'm so sorry. No, I do not have YouTube Premium.
Hey, I got her a little something.
A little something, Dad?
Oh,
And now it sucks because I know YouTube doesn't get it because they don't understand the context. I mean, I would challenge anybody to find a creator, or fuck it, even a human being.
99,000. He's been on record viewing, so I don't know if YouTube's having an issue with this. YouTube loves this drama, so why are you talking about YouTube being an issue? Is this demonetized? I don't think they demonetized this. I believe you're still monetized, Tectone.
Where our relationship didn't start by me saying, hey man, is there anything I can do to help you out? But yeah, no, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I put on because I have to. I put on this front where I'm a narcissist. I put on this front where I'm like this guy who can't be touched emotionally or mentally. But I mean, let's just be real. I've been crashing the fuck out lately. You know, I mean, obviously my health is pretty fucked up. I'll be real. I mean, it's been like 4 months since I've gone live and I've felt good. You know, I mean, obviously I'm getting into the gym. I'm gardening. I'm trying to get better. I'm taking fish oil, daily multivitamin, a B12 because I feel like my memory and my brain's failing because I felt like I was losing my fucking mind. I'm on magnesium to hopefully help the anxiety. I'm horribly afraid of taking actual anxiety meds because last time I did it, I almost killed myself. So yeah, it's fucking terrible, right? It sucks. No, I mean, it sucks. I mean, the fragility of so many of my relationships was on full display. And yes, I'm not going to lie. When people accuse me of having fake friendships, it freaks me the fuck out. I mean, you know, I got fucking divorced. Well, okay, I didn't get divorced. We agreed to get divorced. And I want to make that very clear. The internet really likes saying that I got divorced. That's just something that didn't happen. I mean, with that relationship, I was attempting to get divorced 5 times before eventually we agreed on the 6th. Thank God. Unfortunately, things got very muddy by that time, but absolutely I was miserable in that relationship. I mean, who wouldn't be? Then, you know, I take care of somebody else, and I mean that word specifically. I took care of Pink for a year and a fucking half, and she stabs me in the back and calls me an abuser just because I don't want to marry her. It's fucking
That is categorically untrue. You can go back to my previous videos where it does show Pink supported herself on multiple occasions. And I even think that there is times when Tectone has said that. And he could say that he's playing this act and that he was trying to be nice to Tectone, you know, and not trying to lambast her online, and that he was going to always just be super courteous. And that's why he said the things that he said about, you know, her paying the rent and stuff like that. But what he just said about a year and a half is a lie. Again, playing victim, feigning, just for whatever attention benefit he can get, which has been his career for, I don't know, forever maybe at this point.
awful. Then I get told by my fucking lawyers, oh yeah, well, it's going to be very hard to prove defamation. And to be honest, only $62,000 of damage can realistically be proven. It's going to cost you about $200,000 worth of lawyer fees. So
I mean, this may actually be true to some extent. It might be hyperbolic what he's saying specifically, but this may actually be true. And defamation is extremely hard to prove, especially in 2025. Not to say you can't do it, because in 2025, it's hard to prove these things, but it's also alternatively easy to prove these things. But whether or not you can actually figure out if it's going to be successful is probably the hardest it's ever been in the history of our judicial process, because of how many things, how many procedures and policies and precedences have been kind of like thrown out the window. Good luck in knowing. And if it costs money, good luck in spending that money for that uncertainty. It is the benefit and the disadvantage of freedom of speech and Trumpism.
if you want to wait 2.5 years to spend $200,000 to recoup $62,000 and then get a certificate saying that you were innocent, even though the internet is going to say if they like you, they believe you. If they hate you, then they still are going to fucking call you an abuser.
You've cultivated this. You've done this yourself. This is part of the problem with social media and content creation. All of us, I guess I'm a content creator, have cultivated this audience of, it doesn't matter if it's the truth, it's what people believe. It's unfortunate. But because you've made money in a certain way, and you've lied, and you've misled, and you've had tactics, and it's not just you, Tectone, it's a lot of people in this space, in every space, and all social media, the way people think has changed. And they're more apt to just believe whoever they trust. And a lot of people trust content creators that they watch. It's cultish. It's unhealthy. I've talked about it. I've tried to address it, and I will maybe continue to address it in the future. It's a problem.
Abuser, yeah, it's a lose-lose. Like, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I got over hard, and thankfully, some part of me is so fucking crazy that I can still go live and say that shit with a fucking smile. Thankfully. You know, I mean, I lived a very blessed life, but I think what's happening right now is that behind the scenes, things are now actually so good. I have a very great friend group. My career is doing fucking incredible on Twitch and YouTube, which I thought I was going to be fucked after I left OTK, to be completely honest. I did. After I left OTK, after I left Steak and Eggs, I thought I was going to be fucked. I'm going to keep this shit so for real with y'all. I thought I was cooked. I thought nobody would watch my ass. I thought my career was kaput. I thought it was done. I didn't.
Victim. It's just victimness. You know, I'm sure there's plenty of uncertainty when he left OTK because it did provide him a bit of certainty that he could plan for, especially with Steak and Egg podcast, and the fact that he was, you know, directly associated with some of the most successful people on Twitch, and that he could always have that because of their, you know, the association with the organization. But I mean, he had shown consistently that he was going to be fine, with or without OTK. Obviously, taking a hit, you know, financially it was a reality, I'm sure. But as far as like complete failure, no.
Did not expect anywhere near the fucking astronomical growth that was going to happen the moment I just focused on myself and focused on my community. I didn't believe that. I didn't know that shit at all. Hell no, I didn't know that shit.
I do think that as soon as he left OTK, he started to be a bit more old school in his content, whereas the videos that he made were specifically gotcha drama, and he did not delve or I think because he has this new thing in his Twitch that I saw before I stopped watching like a month and a half ago, where Discord presents him with videos that are mostly gotcha related. He can watch those for like an hour or two, and then he can play a game. He doesn't have a lot of time to make mistakes or to speak out about certain things that were getting him in trouble when he was part of OTK, and obviously continuously talking about Pink and stuff like that was not helping him. In this video, obviously he makes these videos every month or two, and he especially makes them after he has some issues with the community or allegations or whatever drama's happening, to try to circumvent that and to play the victim. I think that's part of his success, and I think that's always been the key to Tectone's success in the gotcha space, and he needs to continue to do that and make less videos about this, because these are parasocial shit that play victim to try to get more support, or to try to erode what the truth really is.
I mean, thankfully, I've lost 20 more pounds since then. It's funny, you know. I got sent a cease and desist about 3 months ago, saying I need to stop defaming my ex.
Okay. So this is really, 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 really good information, right? This is actually valid information. We just read the Twitter from Pink about the cease and desist. So, and this is perfectly aligning with every tweet that we've talked about regarding Pink previously, with her saying that no, she reached out to lawyers, that she's done a police report, that she did all these things, and that every time Tectone said he did those things, we found out they were lies. Who do you believe in the case of whenever you do the fact checking, which doesn't happen that often, right? Because we've already talked about it's not what the truth is, what people believe. But when you do the fact checking, time and time again, you're like, oh, well, they were right, which is on Pink's side, a lot of times they were right. And on Tectone's side, most of the times they were wrong. Who are you going to believe?
And then I continue saying the exact same shit that I've been saying, and obviously that didn't go anywhere because I'm not defaming, because you can't take me to court for telling the truth. It's very easy.
Well, the truth is extremely subjective without evidence. So you can say that what you're saying is the truth, and unless you're taking to court to prove that it isn't, then yes, it is technically the truth. And also, you haven't sworn, and you're not in a deposition to where that would be on record. And even what you say right now, you can basically correct the record when you're in a deposition. There's a lot of leeway here. I'm not believing pretty much anything you've said so far. I think there might have been one thing you said that I've given you credit for, and you've said a lot of other things. So 1% out of 99%, that's about your track record. 99% false, 1% truth, that's about right.
That being said, and I'm just going to be completely real, proving defamation is fucking terrible. And I mean, I'll be real. The internet right now has kind of been dictated by, well, if we like you, you're really cool and you're an angel. But if we hate you, you're a rapist, you're a Nazi, you're an abuser, you're a pedophile, you're a transphobe, you're a homophobe. I mean, I don't mean to drag these guys' names in there lately, but like the fucking H3 content cop with fucking iDubbbz, and then he's going to make content with fucking Hassan, Denims, and Frogan. Bro, those people are so unhealthy for the space, it's ridiculous. And
Says someone who is also unhealthy for the space. Come on. Come on. Ugh.
And I mean this genuinely. I think they're all pieces of shit.
Yeah. And you would be a piece of shit too, Tectone. So if you would include yourself into all of that, then we can agree on something. You know what? To be fair, I'm a piece of shit too. Okay? So here's what a therapist would tell you. That looking to someone else for your excuses or problems, or to try to make yourself feel better, or whatever the scenario is an unhealthy way to view something. You always have to look inside yourself first. And so therefore, you suggesting that these individuals are horrible people would implicate yourself, because you are a content creator who has not only used these same tactics, maybe have done it in malicious ways previously, or in bad faith ways more than they have, which would make you more bad, if that's even a thing, which probably isn't. So you're just as bad. I'm just as bad, even if what I'm saying is the truth all the time. It doesn't matter ultimately.
You want to know why? Because they will not address any criticism that anybody ever has for them, and they're going to deflect, and they're going to say, guys, isn't this the guy who's like a fucking murderer? Isn't this the guy?
Again, just constantly projecting all the negatives so that his community can suggest that he's done none of this, and that they're just being overtly mean or petty or whatever else, the tactic that's being used. But this is what Tectone does all the time. He uses these same tactics that he just criticized these other content creators for.
Guy who like kids, like they'll just make up shit. That
there was the recent, I think, back and forth between someone else in the Gotcha community that used to play Genshin or still plays Genshin, that he called a PDF file. He'll do this too. He'll associate people with the worst kind of thing, even though there's no proof or evidence to that effect, to try to diminish their relevancy or their claims.
Never
and they're all doing this. All content creators are doing this, and to some degree. It's unfortunate. And if, again, people just played their fucking games, covered the drama within Gotcha, and didn't make it fucking personal, that would be one thing. But that has not made Hassan, Asmongold, Tectone, H3 all the money in the world. No, it's the personal fucking flaming drama shit that has. Because it creates parasocial fucking relationships that are cultish.
Happen to convince everybody else that they're a criminal, and this is the mentality that's been spewed en masse all over the internet. And this is a topic that I'm going to touch on later. Guys, I make a post in support of Gargura. and how I think VTuber agencies are predatory and a scam, I get called a grifter. I get called a clout chaser. Brother, I have been advocating for 4 years for VTubers to get properly compensated and to be properly taken care of. And I'm going to be making an entire video on that, on how fucking stupid people are and how these people are the people who are hurting girl the most. But yes, am I okay? I think the honest answer is no. And I don't know if I'll ever be fully okay. I mean, you guys got to understand, every single friendship that I have is underneath a microscope on the internet. And I'll be real, there's a lot of people, and I just need you guys to know this shit, there's a lot of people who want to be my friend. There are. And I'm a guy where I never say no to that. I am down to be anybody's friend at any fucking time. But the amount of people who have pretended, guys, and I'm not going to mention who this is, there was a guy on the internet who pretended to be my friend for 3 years, admitted it publicly on the internet, and nobody cared. He said on stream, I pretended to be your.
If you or someone you know hates ads with a burning passion, Pi is here.
I
to help. This
mean,
is Pi.
I don't hate
We'd
ads
rather
so
send
much
you
that I would get
ads on your
YouTube Premium.
Friend for 3 years. Nobody called him out on that. People, obviously that's deeply traumatic. How could that not be deeply traumatic? And then I see other people in the space who are like, yeah, we're cool. Why the f would you want to be cool with somebody who does that shit? Not that I'm angry at them, but I'm just saying that doesn't seem like a good idea. Me personally, that don't seem like a good idea. And then as much as I want to say this is an isolated event, it's not. It's really not. I get consistently fucked over. And you know what people say? You know what people say? Well, he's the common denominator, so it must be his fault. That's what...
We get a new tribal tattoo? Is that a new tribal tattoo? What's that signify? Is it trident? Is that what that is? Wow. That's so boss.
That's crazy. That's... Well, he keeps on getting f***ed over, so he must be the problem. It haunts me every fucking day. And it's just like, you know what they can say? He's the common denominator. But you know what they can't say? Where I f***ed up. To where...
Oh, I mean, I will not. And I don't know if I even can list how many times you fucked up, Tectone. But the good news is I have a history on my channel.
Where my actions deserve that shit. They can't. So yeah, I mean, it is kind of freaky. I mean, I've taken like fucking 5 days off now because
Oh wow, something must have really happened in that time. And you think that I'm fucking lying that I would know this? I don't know shit. And I know that the people that comment and say that I'm parasocial and that I watch all of his content, blah 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 blah. You could not be more wrong. I don't. So I have no idea what led to this. But I know something did, because it normally always does.
Once again, get horrendously f***ed over. I get horrendously blasphemed. I get all of this shit when it's like, I don't know, man. Just sometimes things are just cooked. It is. And I think the problem is that, you know, I don't really see how to fix this at all. And I just got to realize that.
I mean, telling the truth is one way to do it. Also, seeking therapy, if you're actually legitimately doing it, would be another way. Therapy's not for everyone, ultimately, but you don't know that until you try it. And even if you do, it may just be the therapist, and it may just be the timing. You may actually need to just try again in the future. Therapy can be very introspective and therapeutic, even if the therapist does not even say anything. Just having the conversation with somebody that's a professional, although it's not conclusive. There are plenty of therapists that are not good, that are not going to provide the insight that you need, or are just there to get a paycheck. And that's unfortunate. But hopefully, if you are seeking therapy, you find a good one and you're willing to work with them, because they can be very good. And even if, let's say, I've had all this criticism of Tectone in the past, and I have criticism of a lot of people. I have criticism of myself. At the end of the day, I want people to learn from their mistakes. I want people to understand what they've done wrong and be better people. That is ultimately my goal. Not in just my content creation space, but in life. The older I get, the more I want that for everybody. Is that possible? There has been this philosophical debate about chaos, and if chaos actually needs to exist in a world, if it cannot be eradicated. And I don't know if that's the case. It maybe chaos is just part of it, and you're always going to have this in people that are of a certain personality type to rub people the wrong way, and it can never be kumbaya or peaceful. But I'm optimistic. I'm hopeful that we can get to a point where there's some equilibrium, where there's some compromise, and that we can just exist together in perpetuity, and just be happy. But I don't know.
For the rest of my life as a content creator, whenever anything goes wrong with anybody.
Okay, bro, you're set up right now. I don't like ASMR, and I've been guilty of this myself, so I'm a hypocrite. Don't bang on your table when your mic is going to get reverberated from it. Hope you stop, in the next 5 seconds.
People are going to say, it's your fault. You guys...
Hey everyone, big heads up, Paleo
Okay.
Valley's running a sale on
Thank
all
God
their
we had a
sticks right
break.
now. You can get
We had
30 sticks
an
for
ad
36
break, so that
bucks,
helped us out a
which
little
comes-
bit. We had an
I
ad
don't
break.
understand how f***ed up that is.
He does it one more time. I end the video now. We go part 2.
So I get to live
Okay.
the rest of my life.
That's it.
As a...
That's it. All right. Stay tuned for how long Tectone bangs on his table when it reverberates his mic. This is already a 42-minute video, and I haven't done one of these in a long time. So why not make it part 2? My name is Bazooka. If you like this content, do not subscribe, because I'm not going to be consistent, and you will not be notified with any regularity. So, yeah. Bye for now.